And I'm sure you've seen this if you've been around on social media anywhere in the Yu-Gi-Oh space. You've probably seen this. And I figured we could do this as the warm-up today in the stream, because I'm gonna I'm here. I've come to save the day with the objectively correct take. Essentially, if you haven't seen this, which I feel like it was very hard to avoid over the last couple of days, this is a little website that someone made where you can select your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And I went ahead and I did it, and I posted it on X, and now I'm gonna defend myself. And yeah, I also did an evil version, because I thought that would be funny. I made an evil version of what this would look like if I would pick my least favorite card of all time, essentially, and we can talk about that as well. But yeah, let's just go over it. Look, the most base thing about all of this is that most of these cards are giga old. What is the newest card on this list? Is it Quem? I think the newest card on this list is Quem. The majority of these cards are from like before 2010. This is a certified Ankh list. I'm aware. Yeah, but okay. Anyways, let's go over it. Favorite normal monster, Wing Weaver. This is probably a very odd one. I don't know if a lot of people share this one. This is because there's a personal story to it. That is one of the cards. So when I was a kid, when I was very, very young, my mom sometimes used to buy me packs of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and she would give them to me not as a pack to open, but she would open them and she would give me them like one card at a time sometimes. And she would like she didn't really know what the game was about, but she would like she would try to give me the best card last out of the pack, you know? And one day I was like waiting to get the last, because I was counting, and I was like, okay, dude, I've got 8 cards out of the pack already. The next one's gonna be the banger. And then one day she saved Wing Weaver for the last card in the pack because it had the biggest stats, so she thought it was the best card in the pack. And then at the time I was like, oh man, it's just Wing Weaver. But nowadays I look back at it very fondly, and I think that's a kind of a cool thing. So I thought of Wing Weaver first when I was thinking of my favorite normal monster. So yeah, it was a very funny interaction, because she saved it until the very end, and she was like, here you go, this is your banger out of the pack. And I'm like, that's a vanilla monster. But at the same time, I was like, what was I, like 7, 8 years old? I don't know at the time. So I don't even know if I necessarily knew it wasn't that great of a card, but it was the biggest card in the pack. So, you know, that was that. Mystic Swordsman level 7. The only reasoning I have for this card is that it's freaking beautiful. Mystic Swordsman level 6 is one of the most aura cards from back in the day, in my opinion. I think this card looks awesome. Of course, it's not a great card, but it's one of my favorite ultimate rares of all time as well. So Mystic Swordsman level 6 it is. A lot of people were surprised that I didn't pick any Necros monsters as a ritual monster, and I was close. If I had picked a Necros, it would have been Necros of Valkyris. And yes, the reason is because it draws cards and it makes you survive, so it makes the game grindy. Necros of Valkyris is the reason why Necros was so hard to like kill. So, you know, I was close to picking Valkyris, but I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for Relinquished. I think that card is super cool. One of my favorite DM era cards. Actually, my favorite DM era card, I'm pretty sure. And I love it. I loved trying to make it work in older formats as well, because it actually was a card that wasn't bad. It was somewhat close to being viable in a couple of formats pre-2010. And I liked experimenting with it when I was like 14 or something, and I liked trying some Relinquished decks. So I think it's a base choice. And then for Fusion, I picked Hugin. That one wasn't really that close. I couldn't really think of many other fusions. I mean, Guardian Chimera is really cool. What else is there? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what else I would have picked for Fusion Monster, but I think Hugin just takes it. Colossal Fighter, you guys know, is my favorite card. Even though when I made this list, I second guessed myself on whenever someone asks me what's your favorite card, I do say Colossal Fighter, but a lot of these cards are very, very close. Like Mystic Swordsman level 6, Relinquished, and some of the other ones we're going to talk about are very, very close to Colossal Fighter in terms of my favorite card. Yeah, that's it's a close one, but yeah. XYZ, I picked Totally Awesome, but I was very, very close for picking Animalocaris. I got some people in the comments saying like, I'm surprised you picked Toad over Opabinia and Animalocaris, but I'm gonna be honest with you, they are almost on they're on the same level for me. They are on the same level. It was just the one that came to mind first. But yeah. Favorite Link monster? I have a very hard time because I'm really not the biggest fan of the Link mechanic. But I mean, Beat Cop from the Underworld never did anything wrong, pretty much. So I picked Beat Cop because the card is cool. Has never committed any crimes. I mean, it's a cop after all, so can't, you know. No, of course, I know Beat Cop putting counters on Mystic Mine, toxic win condition. I know it was. I'm still proud of it. I still think it was a good idea in that format at the time. And that's why I picked it. It wasn't a based interaction, but it was a good idea. You know, that's all I'm saying. It was a good idea at the time. Pendulum I picked. I mean, there was legitimately like one option for an ethical pendulum monster that should exist, and that's Archfiend Eccentric. The rest of the mechanic, quite frankly, shouldn't exist. So I picked Archfiend Eccentric because it's the only viable option. So yeah, that I don't know. This one's objectively correct. And yeah, crap. I mean, you guys know I'm exaggerating. Of course, I'm exaggerating. There's a couple of examples, but Archfiend Eccentric is my favorite pendulum because to me it embodies what the mechanic should have been. I think the idea of having cards be monsters and spells at the same time is an incredible design space that they could have used so much better than what they did with it. Where like instead of making it a combo pile, I would have loved if they made the mechanic more about the fact that they can be used in multiple ways. Like every pendulum monster, it can be like a multi-purpose card of you can use it as a spell, you can use it as a monster. And for me personally, the mechanic just doesn't really play that way often enough. I think it's just a lot of the times like, oh yeah, just a way to summon more monsters onto the field and generate card advantage. And I think that's kind of sad. And I think Archfiend Eccentric is the best example of how that could play out if they put more effort into the mechanic. So yeah, that's why it's that. Illblood, Gemini. First of all, there aren't that many Gemini monsters, and Illblood I think is just the one with the most aura. The most fun to play is Gigaplant, which funnily enough is kind of like the same thing as Illblood but for plants. But Illblood, I always thought this card just looked awesome. Is one of those cards that I remember very fondly. I never owned one until it got reprinted as a kid, but I always thought it was so cool. Neos Alias is also a base choice. It is. I think Neos Alias and Gigaplant are close second and third for me, but I just like the artwork for Illblood is what took it for me. I think Illblood's awesome. Tunes, I looked at all the tunes in the thing and I really didn't think that any of, like, I'm not the craziest tune fan. Yeah, I don't know. I picked Blue Eyes Tune because I do think it's the coolest out of them, but I didn't really think any of the other, like, I think Toon Goblin Attack Force is kind of cool because it's kind of goofy. At the same time, they are all kind of goofy. That's their thing. So I don't know. Why not the funny Dark Rabbit? He's so funny. I don't think they had the new ones yet, but I don't think I would have picked any of the new ones for it. Also, I can send you the link. Hold up. I did post the link on the tweet that I made, but I can also put the link in chat right now if you want to do one for yourself. I also did one for spell traps, and I also did the least the least based ones. Okay. Spirit, I picked Yamada Dragon because this card was very fun to play with in Dragon Ruler format. Sometime I never topped an event with it, but I messed around with it a little bit. I also even tried it in Genesis Dragon Rulers. This card draws a lot of cards if it attacks for damage. It draws until you have, I think it's 5 cards in your hand, which is a lot sometimes. So I picked Yamada Dragon. Awesome card. Trigon is my favorite union because it was playable in Ravine Dragon Ruler format. That is literally the only reason. But I mean, it's a dragon with 500 or less attack. So you level 3, so you bring it back with the Debris Dragon to make a level 7 synchro, which is really good in Ravine Ruler format. That's all there is to it. Don't really have any other connections to any other Union monsters. I think the only other Union monster I've ever played are like the Gear Frame and Peacekeeper for the machine stuff. But I prefer Dragon Rulers over Machina Gadgets, so I picked Trigon. Flip Crystal Seer is one of my favorite cards of all time. But yeah, I love Crystal Seer. I don't know what it is about that card, but it fascinated me as a kid when it came out. Partially also because it was, when it came out, rather expensive, so I didn't have access to it right away. But that whole package of Apprentice Magician, Old Vindictive Magician, Crystal Seer is awesome. Like Apprentice Monarch, once this card came out, was one of the decks I always, as a kid, I always wished I could play it, even though in hindsight it wasn't even that good of a deck. But I love Crystal Seer. I think that card is awesome. It's a very, very beautiful ultimate rare as well, because they put like texture on the crystals or whatever it's looking into. These little orbs, they have some really nice texture on the ultimate rare. One of my favorite ultimate rares from back in the day as well. Yeah. For tuner, I picked Quem because of the Bestial Runic deck I won YCS Bologna with, one of my favorite decks of all time. And didn't really, honestly, when I thought back, I was like, what other tuners would I pick? Like, a lot of the decks that are my favorites of all time didn't actually revolve that much around the Synchro Summon mechanic. And if I played Synchros back in the day, it wasn't really about the tuners weren't really that cool, I would say. Like a Krebons or something like that doesn't really strike me as the coolest card ever. Plague Spreader is fine, Spore is fine, Glow Up Bulb is fine, Gale is fine, the Debris Dragon is kind of cool. A lot of them are like cool, but not, I don't know, Quem is cooler, is how I felt. Mole Cricket is not a tuner. Camellia is the tuner. So yeah. Yeah, and then overall favorite card, we've talked about a Colossal Fighter, but I gotta say, in terms of just aura points, I think Crystal Seer, Illblood, Mystic Swordsman level 6, and Relinquished are almost on par with Colossal Fighter for me. Like, those are my top 5. Those are my top 5, and it's kind of concerning that all 5 of those came out before 2010. Now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, Mystic Swordsman level 6, Relinquished, Illblood, Crystal Seer, Colossal Fighter are my top 5 for sure out of these 15. Absolutely. But yeah. Ankh is old. Ankh is old. Okay. Then they also shout out to their Twitter handle is @Bosch for making the website for this. You can find the link to the thing and to their profile on my tweet. I did shout them out in the comments. But after they saw how popular the monster version was, they made a spell trap version. And there is also a new one with your most hated cards, which we're going to take a look at in a second. All right. Normal spell, I picked Destiny Draw. Once again, that's my old head coming through. Engage is a very close second. A lot of people were asking, hey, where's Engage on the normal spell thing? I also thought about Sekka's Light for a moment, but I didn't really play Sekka's Light that much. But I love Destiny Draw, and I loved it as a kid especially. I love that card. Continuous spell is honestly not even close. Like, not genuinely not even close. And it's also my favorite spell trap by a landslide is Branded Regained. And I think if you know anything about my playstyle, then this was never a question. I think that was never a question if you know anything about my favorite decks, my playstyles, anything like that. Of course it's Branded Regained. Of course it's Branded Regained. one of the most beautifully designed cards of all time. I wish it was even better. I wish it was a better hard draw, so I could play 3 copies of my deck and actually want to draw it. But yeah, this card is awesome. DDR favorite equip. This card's just kind of cool. I vibe with it. I don't know. I don't really have any super favorite equip spells or anything like that. But DDR's cool. I like DDR. That card is kind of fun. Quick play spell, enemy controller. I thought long and hard about whether I should pick a runic spell in the quick play section. I had runic tip there for a while, but then I thought about it, and realistically, it's just not even close. Enemy controller is freaking awesome. One of the most interactive quick play spells out there. Feels so fun. Whenever it's a viable card, it's so fun to play with. Going second into a board, your opponent tries to negate your thing or destroy your thing. You chain enemy controller, tribute your monster, take control of one of theirs. It's a phenomenal card. And honestly, also one of the cards that has managed to stay somewhat relevant for the longest time, probably, because like it was a solid card when it came out back in the day, and it's seen play over and over again over the years, just because it's such a timeless and interesting card, and good card too. I mean, the last time it saw play was probably at this point. Currently, it doesn't see that much play, but there was a period like a year or two ago where people start, like every once in a while, people just start playing enemy controller again, and it's awesome whenever it happens. So I picked enemy over the runics. The runics are represented in the field spell section. This one was an easier call for me. I was just like, yeah, okay, let's just put runic fountain here for the field spells to have the runics represented, and just and leave enemy controller here for the quick play spell. And so yeah, I put runic fountain. This is probably the one that people are gonna find the most polarizing, because I know a lot of people love runics, a lot of people hate runics. I'm of course one of the ones that love the runic deck, so I put runic fountain here. Ritual spell was always going to be a Necros spell for me. Unlike Ritual Monster, I put Necros Cycle because I think it's the most fun one to use out of the Necros ritual spells. Of course, out of the 3 original ones, Kaleidoscope, Mirror, and Cycle, I prefer Cycle because bringing back cards from the graveyard is fun. Tributing Shirt from your hand to bring back anything from your grave is very, very fun. I like Necros Cycle, but they're all 3 really cool. And honestly kind of on the same thing. Then they made some custom categories because otherwise they probably wouldn't. They just wanted to have nice 15, I assume. Forbidden was a category, and not in forbidden as in banned, because that's a different category, but forbidden as in forbidden crown, forbidden droplets, so on and so forth. Here, once again, not even close. Forbidden droplets, by far the best designed forbidden spell. And like Forbidden Chalice and Lance are fine, but they're just not really good anymore. And this one, I really let myself. I picked this one out of a modern perspective, but Forbidden Droplet to me checks all the boxes that I want from a well-designed non-engine card. The reason why I didn't pick Forbidden Crown is because I feel like Forbidden Crown is better going first than going second a lot of the times. Not always. There are use cases for Crown going second, and I do like the card. But for Droplet, I really like how it gets significantly better when you go second. I think that's such a good design trait for a card to have. Like, whenever we have this discussion for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Where like going first is so favored and going second is unfavored, like Forbidden Droplet always comes up as one of the best examples, because the Mold Charmies are like, yes, they're designed for helping the player going second, but they are completely dead going first, which sometimes feels bad. Droplet, you can at least use it when you go first, right? It's not a completely dead card. It doesn't feel great when you go first, though. It's just like a bad imperm or something most of the time. But when you go second, it becomes like a monster of a card, and I love that for it. And even when it is good, it doesn't feel like it's unfair in that sense, because you still have to send away a significant amount of cards to get its effect. So I think it's a very well balanced and one of the best designed Yu-Gi-Oh cards ever, probably, is Forbidden Droplet. Oh yeah, actually, for normal spells, my first instinct was to put Pot of Avarice, but then I saw that there was a pot card category as well, so I saved Pot of Avarice for this. I love Pot of Avarice, one of my favorite old school spells, especially from what it feels like to play with. It's just so fun to play a grindy game and then activate Pot of Avarice, put back 5, draw 2. Phenomenal card. Pot of Sloth is also a very well designed card, and I love it. But as opposed to Droplet, Pot of Sloth mainly only sees play in the side deck, so it's not quite as well designed, in my opinion. I think ideally cards like that are designed in a way where they can go into the main deck. Also, Pot of Sloth just came out, so I want to give it some time to develop and see how it goes. But Pot of Avarice is such an all-time classic that I immediately put it for favorite pot. All right. My favorite banned spell and trap is Return from the Different Dimension, because that card reminds me of Dragon Ruler format, which is one of my favorite formats of all time. And it's one of the spell traps that actually could come back right away and wouldn't really do anything. So I'm a little confused as to why it's still banned, because it's not that broken or unfair anymore. And even in Dragon Ruler format, I think this card is not as broken as people think it is, and actually does, because by the virtue of being a trap card and needing a turn to set it up, I think it does introduce some pretty skillful elements into the format. So I'm a fan of Return from the Different Dimension. Normal trap, I picked Morella because it's my favorite Paleozoic. I love Morella, and of course, when we're talking normal traps, we gotta be talking Paleozoics. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, Morella is my favorite Paleo, so I put Morella for normal trap. Continuous traps is a difficult topic because I just hate floodgates, and a lot of the good continuous traps in Yu-Gi-Oh's history are floodgates. So I thought for a moment which continuous trap I could even pick, and I landed on Abyss Sphere. Abyss Sphere is, I mean, Mermail back in the day, before Neptabyss, before all that, was one of my favorite decks alongside, or still is one of my favorite decks. It's one of my favorite decks in all of the retro formats before Neptabyss, pretty much, where like 2012, 2013, 2014, outside of the Dragon Ruler Spellbook Tier 0 formats, I always love playing Mermail. And this is one of the reasons why I love that deck so much, because Mermail was a relatively high ceiling deck, but you didn't unleash that ceiling right away. You grinded for a couple of turns, and you were very hard to kill because of Abyss Sphere summoning out Lind, and then Lind floating, and so on and so forth. It is one of my favorite play styles, and Abyss Sphere is a very integral piece to it, so I picked Abyss Sphere for favorite continuous trap. And then Counter Trap. Counter Trap was another category where I didn't know exactly what I would do, because you guys know this about me, I just dislike counter traps. I think they're not interesting. I think just trading with your opponent's starters with a counter trap, especially in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, is not very fun. I am just not a big fan of any of the Solemns or anything like that. I just dislike that thing. Isn't Crescendo a counter trap? Yeah, I think Crescendo is the most boring card in Orchest. I like Orchest, but I don't think Crescendo is a very well designed card. I just don't like when you, because especially there's other forms of negation that I also dislike, but counter traps are especially hard to interact with. You can't even chain to them most of the time. So it's just like they just happen, and your stuff's now negated, and you couldn't play, and then you have to have another starter or you lose. So I'm just not a fan of counter traps. So I picked Wiretap, because it's only really good in one specific format in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, and that's like hat format. And in hat format, like I wasn't a huge fan of hat format at the time, but looking back at it now, I think it's a fun, diverse format. And Wiretap mostly is just used to negate trap cards. It doesn't negate starters, it negates traps. So I think that's more fun than negating starters. So I like Wiretap more than most other counter traps, I think. But I don't really have a strong feeling or connection to this card or any other counter trap for that matter. So I just picked one that I thought was the least toxic out of most of the counter traps. So yeah. Dominus Spark, similar, exact same thing. I'm not the biggest fan of the Dominus cards. I'm not the biggest fan of negation, right? And so I picked the one that is removal instead of negation, but is actually good, right? I was close to picking Dominus Spiral, but then I thought like, okay, well, Dominus Spiral is kind of just like bad, so doesn't really strike me as my favorite. I think Spark is cool. I think Spark is cool because it's removal, and I think removal is cooler than negation. So I prefer Dominus Spark. I would like to play against Dominus Spark any day of the week instead of playing against Dominus Impulse or Dominus Purge. So I put Spark. And then Solemns. once again, this category was difficult for me because I kind of dislike all of the Solemns. So I picked Solemn Warning because that at least reminds me of some of my favorite retro formats. Could have picked Solemn Judgment for the same reason, I guess. But I picked Solemn Warning specifically because it's from a period of in Yu-Gi-Oh's history where it wasn't typically a game ender, right? Like nowadays if you go Solemn Warning on a starter and they don't have an extender, they pass and you kill them. Back in the day, that wasn't the case, right? Like when Solemn Warning came out, it was just a good card. It was a good card, but it was not like a game ender. It was like, okay, just Solemn a card and then the game goes on. So I remember it more fondly than what it's used for nowadays. But yeah, could have picked Solemn Judgment for the same reason, I guess. Solemn Wishes. I saw Solemn Wishes and I was like, should I just pick Solemn Wishes because I dislike all of the other ones? But that didn't feel genuine to me because I have no connection to Solemn Wishes or Solemn Authority or something like that. Solemn Warning, in retro sense, I think Solemn Warning is a cool card and it is more fair than Solemn Judgment, I think. So I picked it. Okay, and then after I made this one, I had a little fun idea of what if I picked my least favorite for each of the categories, and so I made this post. And I said, meanwhile, in the alternate universe that has the most cringe version of me. And I'm not going to elaborate too much on all of these, but this is essentially what I would pick if the goal was to pick the most toxic one out of each category, I suppose. Or at least the one that I hate the most out of each category. So these are the options. I will not elaborate on most of these because they are objectively correct, all right? This is essentially all cards that the entire world would be better off if they were never made. There is, you will not convince me otherwise. People were making fun of me picking Squeak Knight. Reality is that I don't really have beef with any unions or Geminis, but I had to pick something. And Squeak Knight is the one that they used to summon Isold in Infernoble. So it feels like the union monster that has committed the most crimes. I feel like Squeak Knight is the union monster that has probably committed the most crimes because it's been turned into Isold most of the time. And then Geminis, I don't really hate any of the Geminis, but I picked Gemini Soldier because that's a deck that's been popping up in Edison format recently, and I just think it's not good, so I picked Gemini Soldier. That's it. So the thing is, I did this a couple days ago, actually. I did this 4 days ago, but they actually made a version of this now. They made a version of what is your most hated Yu-Gi-Oh card. And it actually has some different categories than this. So I figured, you know, we're going to do this really quickly. So this one's obviously going to be Lokai. This one's obviously going to be Dormouse. Ritual, we're going to pick wait, most hated? Yeah. Most hated Ritual. Now here, the thing is, I made this under the premise that it would be the most cringe. Is most cringe the same as the most hated? Because I think Amor Factor Pain is a very, very cringe card, but I don't really hate it because people don't really play it. So my most hated Ritual is probably a different one now that I'm thinking about it. What's the one that when I see it or whenever I saw it in the past, I would just hate my opponent? Herald is a good call. One of the Heralds is not a bad call, actually. It is such a cringe concept. Maybe, honestly, one of the Heralds would probably also be a very valid choice for the most cringe one. The only thing that's difficult about the Heralds is that it's 2 of them, and I don't really know which one. Because for me personally, I've played more against Herald of Perfection back in the day than Herald of Ultimateless in like 2021 or 2, whenever it was. What else do we have? We have like other turn skips. A lot of ritual monsters. For some, it's probably just going to be Habakiri, but I don't hate Habakiri that much. I think I'll actually go with Herald of Ultimateness. Yeah, I'll go with that. So for Fusion, it's a very close race. because it's either Spirit of You, Phantom of Yubel. I hate that card. I hate that card. But I also hate this guy. I also hate this guy. More like, it's not even a floodgate, but the amount of combos it enables, bro. I hate that guy. It's one of those two. It's gotta be one of those two. Winda, Kaliga. Dude, I hate those guys too, but I would ban Dark Magician of Destruction instantly over any of those two. What about the extra deck rip invoked? I don't hate it that much yet. I mean, I don't like that it exists, but it's not on the same level of hatred as those cards. Not even close. Not even close. I'll go with nah, you know what? I'll go with Dark Magician of Destruction because it's just more relevant right now. It's just more relevant right now than the Phantom of Yubel. Synchro. What's my least? What did I pick here? Junk. Oh yeah, no, it's Junk Speeder. Actually, it's between Junk Speeder and Cyframe Lord Omega. Baron. I have put my beef with Baron and Herald of the Arclight aside since they've been banned in TCG. So like, they're just not there anymore in my mind. It's like, okay, I'll you know. Naturia Beast, it's not. I don't hate Naturia Beast nearly as much as I hate. I like. Speeder happens very rarely, but whenever it does, I literally have the least fun imaginable. Omega is more relevant, but at the same time, I also like Omega is a card that is very, very polarizing to me. Because sometimes I think the card is completely okay in certain decks, and then in like combo decks when they hand trip you, it's so toxic. So I don't know. It's either Junk Speeder or Omega. I'll pick Omega. All right, XYZ. Oof. XY. What did I do here? A Rise Heart. But a Rise Heart is banned. For good reason, I guess. Oh, there are so many though. There's a Rise Heart, there's VFD, there is Dweller. I hate Dweller. I hate Baguska too, but not as much as I guess. Okay, I this one I did kind of like on the fly. Now that I'm thinking about it more, what should be my criteria for the most hated card? Because I've been giving, for the Synchro one, I've been giving Baron some leeway because it's banned in the TCG, and so I don't see it anymore. But realistically, now that I'm thinking about some of these banned cards, I still hate them a lot. Ripper? Oh, I hate Ripper. Oh, yeah, you're right. I hate Ripper so much, man. Can I really pick Ripper over like VFD though? I didn't play that much during VFD times, to be fair. Like for me personally, I didn't play that much during VFD times. Oh, Shockmaster is a good one too. Ripper cost us Vanquish Soul players so much. I think you're right. I actually think you're right. I actually think it might be Ripper. Paradise Smasher. Rongo. Hate Rongo. Consider the Teller turn skip. Guys, here's the thing, right? I agree with you, but at the same time, I've just never, like, for me personally, I've never been turn skipped by Teller. It hasn't happened to me yet in my life. So those cards are simply not as hated by me yet, because it's just never been a thing. I'm picking Ripper. It's a little bit of recency bias in this one, but I'm picking Ripper. I hate what this card did to Vanquish Soul. I will never forgive it. Okay, my least favorite Link monster. Oh god. What is my least favorite Link monster? I mean, Electromite. Electromite is definitely up there. Whitebinder. Whitebinder is also up there. However, Whitebinder, I already picked a Malice card up here. Link Decoder? Link Decoder is not my... No. It's not my most hated. I don't like it, but like the problem is... The problem with Cybers is that it's more the overall, like the combination of them. It's not one specific card. It's that all of them exist together. Like I don't have an issue with Splash Mage in a vacuum. I don't have an issue with Link Decoder in a vacuum. It's like if the fact that they all existed, but there I couldn't point at one of them and say like, yeah, this is the one that I hate the most. Appaloosa is a very, very good call. Appaloosa is a very good call. Nightmare Griffin? No, Nightmare Griffin's not my most hated. I don't like it, but it's not my most hated. No, not even close. Electromite, Appaloosa. I do hate Zena. I really hate Zena, but more so, like, I hate Zena because they made it, not I don't hate it. I don't think I hate it more than Appaloosa, but I just think like the timing on it is so bad. Like the fact that they made Zena in 2026 is outrageous to me. But it's not my most hated card itself. The thing is, like, I'm noticing a lot of cards that I disliked, like a lot of Link 2 combo enablers of different flavors, like Isold or Electromite or whatever. Which I'm not a fan of the concept, but I couldn't even tell you which of those is my singular least favorite one. The Link 1 plant. Yeah. I think it's between Zena, but that's recency bias. It's between Zena, Appaloosa, Little Knight. Dude, if SP Little Knight is your least favorite or your most hated Link monster, I don't think we can be friends. That's crazy. Out of all the things on this list, you pick SP Little Knight, one of the most interactive cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's insane. SP's like up there for the best one. I'm picking Apple. Whew. Okay, Pendulum. Yeah. What are we doing here? It would genuinely be easier for me to make a list of the Pendulum cards that I think should exist than to define my most hated one. Because the list of Pendulum cards that should exist is like insanely short. Pick the DDD with the longest name. Based. Yeah, dude. The Amorphage, I thought about doing the Amorphages when I did this one. Astrograph isn't the most cringe. I take that back. I don't think it's Astrograph. What's the one? Wait. I have an idea. What's the one that stops you from interacting with them because it says like you can't activate shit for the rest of the turn when they combo on you in Master Duel? What's that one? I hate that one. Which one is that? Celestial. Yes, that one. Oh my god, I hate this guy. Oh yeah. This feels right. This feels right. This is the one. It's very, very niche, but it's absolutely this one. Holy. What about Cleaford Scout? I mean, Cleaford Scout is cringe, but look, I would rather play against Cleaford than any of the Pendulum combo piles. Like, yeah, not even close, actually. Isn't it Rainbow Magician? No, this is the one I mean. This is the one where the combo decks, the Pendulum combo decks in Master Duel that you play against almost every single Duelist Cup a bunch of times. When you Fuba them or when you Max C them, they summon this guy and it says you can't activate monster effects for the rest of the turn or any effects, I don't remember. And then they just deck you out. And it doesn't matter what you draw into because you can't use it. This is the one. They like give you a field spell with the freaking cringe what's it called? The Valence field spell, so you can't activate Imperm anymore. And then they summon this. And you know. And then you can't do anything and they take you out. Okay, hand trap, easy. I will not debate. I picked this one over Maxi. I picked this one over Shifter. It's this. Gamma is close to this too. It's Gamma and Ash, easily. Least favorite tower. Least favorite tower. Never really thought about it like this. Maybe it's just Liger? But I don't hate Lunalight that much. I really don't hate it that much. Rongo. Oh, Rongo is on here? Wait, yeah, if Rongo is on here. Yeah, Rongo. Yeah. Wait, no, it's not close. It's not close. All right, most hated spell. What is my most hated spell? Is it Malice in Underground? Is this only normal spells or all spells? Oh, it's all spells. Okay. Dimensional Fissure. Called by the Grave. Oh, I hate Called by the Grave. Yeah, it's Called by the Grave. It's Called by the Grave. It's not close. It's not close. Like, the thing is, of course, I hate Malice, and I hate when my opponent activates Malice in Underground, but it at least that only happens when you're playing against Malice. I'm picking some of these cards because the damage that they're doing to modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is something that I will never forgive them for. Called by the Grave, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, like these cards, Appaloosa at the time, those are not tied to a specific deck. Those will just ruin the game, and in every single deck plays them, or like a lot of decks play them. So just the impact that these cards have on my life as to how miserable they make it, it cannot be compared to Malice or any other archetype that I dislike. So yeah. All right, my least favorite trap card. I mean, there's so many, man. What is my least favorite trap card? Did you see they put Called by in every new legendary deck? No ban incoming. Yeah, I saw that, but hear me out. They only put one Ash Blossom in each of them. They only put one Ash Blossom in each of the legendary decks. Copium. Anyways, what's my least favorite trap card? My most hated trap. I mean, I hate all of the floodgates. I hate a lot of the counter traps too. But which one do I hate the most? Which one do I hate the most? Dimensional Barrier? Dimensional Barrier is up there for sure. It's definitely not Impulse or Purge. Like, I don't hate them more than other trap. There's no way. I don't like them, but I don't hate them more than like Floodgates. I think it's gotta be a Floodgate. Whatever I pick here has gotta be a Floodgate. I'm just wondering, what's my least favorite Floodgate of all time? What's my least favorite? What's my most hated? What is the one Floodgate that I hate the most? And the reason why it's not Dimensional Barrier for me is because one of my least favorite things with a Floodgate is when they activate it and you know in that moment that you cannot play the game ever again. Even if they break, even if you stop them, even if you break their board, you have no chance to ever play the game again because your deck just doesn't function under that Floodgate. So something like your opponent activates Rivalry and your deck just cannot play under Rivalry. Or your opponent activates There Can Be Only One and your deck just doesn't function under There Can Be Only One. Right? Those are my least favorite Floodgates. Featherstorm is only for a turn. So if you like hand trap your opponent or you board break your opponent or you survive the next turn, you can still win the game. So I mean they're toxic, the lingering ones, but I just hate the ones I hate the most. The ones I hate the most by far are the ones where they activate them and you know you cannot win the game ever again. Doesn't matter how long it takes, your deck just doesn't function. And I think that's why it's either Rivalry, Goes in Match, or There Can Be Only One. Those three. I think it's those three. And I do think I hate them more because they're still legal. That does factor into my decision here, because a lot of the other ones that you guys are mentioning, I hate them too, but at least they're gone now. So I'm like, okay, whatever, let's put the past behind us. But with those other ones, it's not the same. So I think I'll pick Rivalry. I'll pick Rivalry. And then for Flood, what's my least favorite Floodgate overall? Bro, this category, oh my god, even scrolling this category. Even scrolling this category makes me so mad. Why? Who made, like, okay, here's what Konami should do. They should just go down this list and identify the person who designed all these cards. Why is access code talker a Floodgate? Because the opponent can't respond? They should find the person who designed all these. I hate Protoss. I hate Scythe. Barrier statues, but which one would you pick? Which one would you pick? Dimensional barriers here as well. My most hated Floodgate. Monarchs Erupt. Inspector Border. I hate Inspector Border, man. Majesty's Fiend. Vanity. Why is March Hair here? Should we pick March Hair? Oh, because the targeting protection, yeah. A lot of you guys are saying Mystic Mine. Mystic Mine, in terms of toxic floodgates, is not even top 20, I think. But you guys are not ready for that conversation yet. You guys are not ready. We can't have that conversation at this point in time. But Mystic Mine is less toxic than a lot of the cards that are still legal. And this is, oh, Azathoth. Oh my god. I hate Secret Village. Oh my god, I hate Secret Village. Because you know what the worst thing about Secret Village is the decks that play it. The decks that play it are also so cringe, dude, most of the time. I don't know what it is about Spellcaster combo decks, but man, Secret Village. Ah. I might pick Secret Village. I'm not gonna lie. Typhon. Someone probably put Typhon. Vanity's Emptiness. Vanity's Ruler. Oh, I hate Vanity's Ruler. I think I'm going with Secret Village. One card starter. What is my least favorite one card starter? I mean, okay, how is Access Code a one card starter? I think they just put all of the cards in there. Yeah, we're putting the boy. We're putting the OG, the one that started it all. The one that started it all. Okay, I cannot possibly pick. I cannot possibly pick a most hated card. What am I trying to do? Do I pick my most hated card at the moment, or do I pick my most hated card of all time? My most hated card of all time. I mean, but then just by definition, I have to pick one of these other 14, right? Because they were winning each of the categories. Like, I would have to pick one of these. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know what my most hated card of all time is. Because, like, I can easily tell you what my most hated card right now is. That's not difficult. That'd be Ash or Called by the Grave. Just because they are actively, like, hurting modern Yu-Gi-Oh! In my opinion. Like, my most hated card right now would be one of those two. But I don't feel comfortable calling Ash Blossom my most hated card of all time. That doesn't feel appropriate, because when it came out, it was completely fine. It just aged poorly, but I don't hate it like that much. The same is true for Max C. Like, Max C was completely fine for like 5 years until it became toxic, and then the TCG eventually banned it, and then hell knows why Master Duel still has it. But like, Max C is not my most hated card of all time, because in the beginning it was fine. I think there's a few cards here that I essentially just hated from start to finish. Like, when they made it, I hated it until the moment it was banned. And that's Appaloosa. Appaloosa is one of those cards that was never good for the game. Rongo is also one of those cards. I think I'll go with Apple then. I think I'll go with Apple. All right, there we go. See, and this is one of my favorite features of this website. You can do see what others voted for. Most hated cards. See what others voted for. Hated normal monster. All right, I guess we are NPCs because we put the most I mean, look, this one's easy, right? It's like Lokai or Driver, Garnet honorary like mention, honorable mention, I guess, but like it's between Lokai and Driver for most people, right? Yeah. I put Labradorite Dragon. Why? What has Labradorite Dragon ever done to you? Most hated effect monster. Okay, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. Dimension Shifter, Maxi. This one, for this category, that was a little bit of me bias. Even though Malice Dormouse is in the top 10. It is in the top 10. But I do think, wait, all of these top 10 are pretty, wait, Ray? Ray is in, okay, dude, we are not the same. Fallen of Albaz? Fallen of Albaz is in your top 10 most hated cards? That's insane. Before Inspector Porter? No, I know that people hate Sky Striker. I didn't expect it to not be here, but Fallen of Albaz, what the hell? Okay. Cool Tune Rotary, I think, is somewhat recency bias, but I do get it. I think in a few years from now, people are not going to remember Rotary as negatively as they are looking at it right now, but it's fair enough. Okay. Right. Most hated ritual. Yeah. Habakiri and Murakumo are in top 3. But no one voted Futsu, at least. I'm proud of you guys. Futsu is not in the top 10. Herald of Ultimateness, Benton, Amor Factor Pain, Herald of Perfection. Yep. Magician of Black, Chaos Max, Blue Eyes Chaos Max. Okay. And Ohime and Skull Guardian, the Protector of the Voiceless Voice. Alright, sure. Most hated fusions, Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. Interesting. Okay. Phantom of Yubel is in top 6. What did I put? I put something that isn't even on here. Wait, what did I pick? I forget. Oh, Dark Magician of Destruction. Yeah, why are you guys not picking Dark Magician of Destruction? I'm confused. I guess people just like Dark Magician. And they, I mean, fair enough. People hate. I mean, the thing is, most of these, or a lot of these, aren't even floodgates, right? Mirror Jade, for example. Why is Mirror Jade top 4? What's wrong with Mirror Jade? What is wrong? I get what's wrong with Sanctifier. I'm not questioning that. I think that's fair. That's fair enough. But why is Mirror Jade on here out of all the things, man? Rex Term, Kikkolos, Colossus, Dragoon, Phantom of Yubel, Winda. Okay. I mean, mostly agreeable. Mostly agreeable. Most hated Synchro, Baron. That's fair enough. Actually, fair enough. That's not a bad one. Junk Speeder, Omega is also in here. Cupsy Yamiway is insane to put. Like, I mean, I understand. One thing I can take away from this is a lot of people care more about what they are recently playing against rather than actually analyzing the card design behind it. Because like Cupsy Yamiway is okay. Come on, man. Who voted Cupsy Yamiway over Baron, Naturia Beast, Arclight, Calamity, Junk Speeder, Transcendent, Omega? Like, there are a lot of people out there who pick Cupsy Yamiway over any of these other options. That's crazy. Oh yeah. Crimson Dragon is actually not a bad pick either. Yeah, I think that's a fair enough pick. Yeah. Oh, we made it into top 3 with Ripper. Let's go. Let's go. I'm not the only one. I mean, obviously not. But yeah, number 1, Arisart. Fair enough. Number 2, Abyss Dweller. Number 3, Ripper. These are not a bad pick either. True King of All Calamities. Rongo. Baguska. Ryziel Detonator. Kali Yuga. Dude, Baguska is here twice. Because it's got 2 different artworks. Okay. So technically you would have to add these together, right? 81 votes, 59 votes makes a total of 140. So actually Baguska is third. Actually Baguska is third. It's got more votes than Ripper if you combine the 2. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Most hated Link, Appaloosa, White Binder, Requiem, Nightmare Griffin, Gumblar, good call, old heads. Halka Fibrax, Verti Anaconda, Zena, Appaloosa. Appaloosa again. Charmer Quartet in Bloom. Okay. Interesting. I would have picked Moon over Requiem. I mean, I think it's understandable though. Like, I agree with you. I think Fiendsmith itself is fine, but I do still think like the overall Fiendsmith hate that a lot of people have is somewhat justified. I personally think they are directing it at the wrong card, but that's still, I mean, it's understandable. I get it. Because like getting rid of the Link one would also solve that problem. So I think it's fair enough. Hated Pendulum. Yeah, I didn't expect it to make it into the top 10 with my pick. Mine was very specific, but these are all very good picks. There are 3 Amorphages in top 10. That's crazy. The guy that designed Amorphage should take a look at that. Bro, you made 3 out of the top 10 most hated Pendulum cards. That's insane. Good job. 5 Rainbow Magician, Eniacraft, a Torimar. You guys are crazy. Just read the cards, man. Literally just read the cards. Astrograph Sorcerer, Vakaushi, Endymion, Scout, Kirin. Kirin is also crazy. I guess Kirin was a menace back then, so maybe people thought about it that way. But yeah. Most hated spell. Let's go. Called by the Grave top 1. Mystic Mind 2. Dimensional Fissure 3. Super Poly 4. Engage 5. Talent 6. Branded Fusion 7. Sangan Summoning 8. Mistaken Arrest. Fallen at the Virtuous. My god, this community is really split. It's insane. Dude, imagine there are 2 types of people. Most hated spell. Some people put stuff like Called by and Mystic Mind, and others are busy blaming their losses against cards like Engage or Fallen at the Virtuous on the cards themselves, bro. So who put Fallen at the Virtuous? Reveal yourself. Who put Fallen at the Virtuous into the most hated spell of all time category? That's insane behavior. That is genuinely insane behavior. Alright. Floodgate, Floodgate, Floodgate. Evenly matched. What? Floodgate, Floodgate, Floodgate. Whatever the hell Mind Scan is. Imperial Order. Yeah, Floodgate, Floodgate. Okay, we've got 8 Floodgates, Mind Scan, and some people have an issue with evenly matched, I guess. Mind Scan is a tune. No, I know what it is. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's not technically a Floodgate, but it's also like, what the hell is that card? You know, who made that? That's how I meant that. I get evenly. It's an unfun card to play against. I get that. I know sometimes it feels really bad when your opponent enters battle phase and you're not prepared for it. But at the same time, it is just kind of like a board breaker, right? It's just kind of like a regular board breaker that, in comparison to most other board breakers, isn't even that good right now. It's just like a fine card. So I don't really. I mean, every board breaker feels bad if you are not prepared for it, right? Like, if I set 5 cards with Sky Striker, it also feels bad if my opponent activates Lightning Storm. But I'm not going to put Lightning Storm as my most hated card of all time because of that. I don't know. Well, I get it. It's fine. Yeah. Most hated Floodgate. Anti-spell is first. That's got to be recency bias, right? That's got to be just because it's the most played one at the moment. But I mean, I think that is a fair reasoning. I was thinking like this as well when I made my list sometimes, so I think it's fair. Shifter in second, same thing. I don't think Shifter is nearly as bad as a lot of these other cards over the entire history of Yu-Gi-Oh, but I mean, it is currently still being played, which makes it an issue. Mystic Mind, there can be only one. D-Barrier, Skill Drain, Fossil Dyna, Order, Fissure, Protoss. Yeah, literally all of these cards should have never been made, so can't really fault anyone for voting these. Most hated hand traps. Shifter, Droll, Maxi, Ash Blossom. All right, 4th place. We take it. Actually, Alt Art is here too. 27 votes. That is still 4th place. Does not let us overtake Maxi. Fair enough. Molcharmi Fualos, Droll and Lockbird, 2nd Art also coming in here. Dominus Impulse, Nibiru, evenly matched. Okay. All right. Why is evenly a hand trap? Can we talk about that? Why is evenly even making it into the top 10 most hated hand traps? This card isn't even a hand trap. Trap from hand? That's not the definition. That is not the definition of a hand trap. If the definition for hand trap was a trap that you activate from hand, then none of these other monsters would be hand traps. It literally is. No, it's not. The definition of a hand trap is a card that you can activate as a trap from your hand. You can activate evenly from your hand if it's your opponent's battle phase and they pass. They try to go main phase 2. But come on, guys, come on, shut up. We're not doing this again. We've done this a bunch of times when I made hand trap tier lists and people asked where's evenly matched. I'm not doing this again. You're rage baiting me again. No one thinks evenly is a hand trap. Most hated tower: Liger Dancer, recency bias, Noir, Rongo. How do people hate Liger more than Rongo? It's got to just be people who haven't played against Rongo, because it's like that was 10 years ago at this point or something, or 8 years. But it's, I mean, fair enough. All of these choices are fair enough. Towers, Raid Raptor, dude, Masterpiece. Oh yeah, good call. Crooked Cook, the Dragon, the Dragon. Okay, the bottom 3. I said all of these are fair choices. That's before I saw the bottom 3. What the hell is wrong with you guys? The Dragon that devours the Dogma, Black Chaos, and Chaos Angel? Bro! Some people just hate cool cards, man. Some people just hate cool cards. Most hated one card start. Dormouse, Snake Eye Ash, Hamakiri, Fallen of the White Dragon, Kapsiyami, Cool June Q, Hydra, Mathmech Circular, Extra Zeal Chandra. I like how Tenpai is the only deck that's on here twice. And honestly, this is fair. This is fair enough. I mean, I would put the bottom ones definitely over Fallen of the White Dragon and Cupsy personally. But everything else I can get behind. Like Snake Eye Ash, Dormouse, like even Habakiri was way too powerful of a card. I don't hate it that much, but it is way too powerful as one card, so fair enough. Most hated overall: Shifter, Maxi, Droll, Mystic Mine, Called By, Super Poly is top 6. Super Poly is top 6 most hated cards of all time? Okay, dude. Lunalight Liger Dancer also. Okay. D-Barrier, Arise, Hardroll, Lockbird. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you guys that Liger Dancer and Super Poly are cards worth hating. I get it, but top 6 and 7? Droll is there twice again because of the 2 artworks. They should probably not have alt arts in this. But yeah, I can get behind 8 of these, but I don't really understand Liger and Super Poly being in top 10. I don't know. Well, okay. Interesting. Very interesting.